की गूंज in Pune, Rahul Gandhi spoke about smashing patriarchy. Excellent sentiment. Patriarchy, wherever it exists, must be smashed. But in the course of that discussion, he also brought up the Manusmriti. Now think about it. There are several parts of the Manusmriti that are problematic vis-a-vis women. But how many people do you know who actually possess the Manusmriti, have read the Manusmriti, or even follow any part of the Manusmriti, that they let their behavior with their female relatives be informed by anything that the Manusmriti says? And yet it is held up as an example of how India treats its women. Patriarchy, which is enshrined in the Manusmriti. By the way, weren't we told just a few days ago that discussing Vande Mataram in 2026 is not relevant, but apparently discussing Manusmriti still remains very relevant. Be that as it may, do remember what has happened in Indian society. You had Raja Ram Mohan Roy, who led the campaign against the practice of sati. It was abolished. Then you had Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar, who pushed for widow remarriage, making it possible in our country. You had people like Baba Saheb Ambedkar, Swami Vivekanand, who pushed back against the practices of untouchability, and all of that became a crime. And yet Manusmriti somehow remains the buzzword. While we're on the topic, let's also remind you what somebody like a Gandhiji said about Manusmriti. Again, remember, yes, there are problematic parts. Those are parts that nobody follows. But can a text, can any book be called as evil altogether? Well, Gandhiji seemed to disagree. What happened was, when Baba Saheb Ambedkar burnt a copy of the Manusmriti in 1927, here is what Gandhiji called it. He said it is nothing but childish rage. And why did he say that? He said it because in a letter written to Mr. P.T. Pillai, he said that I did not regard Manusmriti as an evil, as it contained much that was admirable, even as it contained many things which were bad. Gandhiji also said that a reformer should treasure all that is excellent in ancient code and expurgate all that is injurious or of doubtful value. Now, why did he actually defend the Manusmriti in a way? Because a few years earlier, he had written to Lord Curzon. In a convocation ceremony in Calcutta, Lord Curzon was arguing that most of modern thought, most progressive thought came from the West. To contradict that, Gandhiji actually quoted parts of the Manusmriti to say, he quoted several passages from the Manusmriti which stressed on lofty moral principles in 1280 BC. So not all was bad with the Manusmriti, and that's something that not I am saying, Gandhiji himself said. Be that as it may, today if you want to talk about only Manusmriti, will you actually avoid addressing the real problems? You want to smash patriarchy? Actually, most of the problems that women today have in terms of treatment, representation,